Lovely. Good morning. Welcome to Move More. We are on week 23, so 2 weeks left after this week. So hopefully you've seen progressions. Keep going, keep doing your homework. It's really important. That's when you'll see more improvements if you can keep practicing at home. Getting in your 50 hours over the 25 weeks is really important, or more. Okay, so to start with, make sure you've got inhalers, any sprays you need, you've got a drink of water. Sit down and rest, or just take a break if you need to at all when we're running through these sessions. If you don't feel particularly well, or if you've got something going on, please feel free. You can always put a note in the chat, or we can always give you a call if you need to put your hand up or whatever. So let's get going. Let's sit forwards in the chair. For those of you that are staying seated today, come forwards in the chair into that lovely self-supporting spine. Think about your posture. Sitting upright, feet nice and wide. I'm going to come up to standing because I know a lot of you are standing already and already pumping your heels. So we know that all that practice is staying with you. So just lifting the heels. Oh, do I need to come back? Can they see me all right? With my head in. Okay. So just into a march for now. It doesn't have to be fast. I tend to get a bit carried away. I get a bit excited, so I speed up. You don't need to be speedy. Breathe. What are your feet doing? Are you rolling through your feet, or are you flat-footed? Roll. So you shouldn't hear your footprint. You shouldn't hear your footfall on the floor. Okay, it should be quiet. Excellent. Let's just tap to the side. Tap. Seated, it's exactly the same. Just a little tap. And then let's take the feet wider than your hips. Let's come into a shoulder raise. So lift, lift, lift those shoulders. And then slowly drop them down. Have a wiggle if you need to. And then lift again. Lift up, up, up. And lower down. Ooh. Lift. And if you've got any kind of aches or twinges, then just stay with this movement, or just maybe lift one side, press it down. That press sometimes just really helps to release any tightness. So lift and press, lift and press. Keep going. Ooh. And if you want to just take your head side to side, you can. And then let's come into that march. So a gentle march, heel lift. So what are we doing now? We're just warming up the body, the muscles, the joints into our circulation boost. So it's our warm up. And you notice at the end, we warm down. So we cool down, warm down as well. Excellent. Okay, feet wide again. Let's come into that shoulder roll. So a big shoulder circle. I'll show you from the side. Up, back, down. Oh, lovely. Feel the shoulder blades kind of almost squeezing together as you send those shoulders back and away. So shoulders, a big circle. Take your time here. Lift up, back and down. Great. Keep going. And you might notice today I'm about 6'2". It's our camera, so apologies. Hopefully it doesn't look too odd. Okay, I'm back to your march. Let's bring the arms in a little bit more. So soft fingers, not anything, no tightness, no tension. Just soft fingers. Still with that lovely foot placement. It's much kinder on your ankles and your feet if we can roll through. Excellent. Okay, let's take the feet wide. Let's come into that rotation. So knees are soft and we're just going to rotate. So we're twisting to the side. Take your eye gaze with you and twist into the side. Trying to keep your hips facing forward though, because then that gives you more of a stretch through the waist and the ribs. In seated, you've got a couple of options. You can slide your hands up and down your thighs, Or you could hold onto your elbows, or you can cross your hands opposite, hand to the opposite shoulder. But trying to keep your knees still, because we're really trying to work through the waist and the ribs, okay? And if your knees are moving, we tend not to get such a big movement. So lovely, keep going, keep those knees nice and soft. And then let's come into your march. So, excellent. So on the spot for now, and then let's come into heel toe. So heel goes on the floor, and then the toes or the ball of the foot, whatever you can manage. So heel goes on one spot, toes or the ball of foot on the same spot. And then you don't need to look down. So eye gaze forwards, lift in the knee, same in seated. You might want to just lean back a little bit in seated, because to lift that leg, it can be a bit uncomfortable. So heel, toe or ball of the foot, heel. You can hold on, we're not in balance at the moment. And then let's swap legs. So find a little spot, heel and toe. So why are we doing this? We're mobilizing the ankle, lifting the knee, but it's about the ankle. So trying to pull the toes up, trying to point and press the foot down. We have to get good mobilization through the ankle so we can make bigger steps that are safe. Otherwise, if you've got a stiff ankle, oh, don't worry for now. Yeah, if we've got stiff ankles, it's really awkward to step. And I know some might have had an operation or might have arthritis where you don't get that full movement. So it's about keeping as much movement as you can. Okay, and then back into your march. So shoulders done, waist, ribs, ankles, feet. Let's work through the hips. So you can have your chair in front of you, hips to the side, forwards in a semicircle, to the other side, back to center. Soften through your knees. Otherwise you get very little movement. Side, forwards, center, side, forwards, center. Keep going. And if you wanted to do a big circle in seated, remember, if you take your shoulders forwards with your nose. Okay, feet must be really wide. And then you can always reverse direction. Round and round. Otherwise, if you're standing, it's the hips that are moving, not the shoulders. So here, hips, like a little Tom Jones move. That's it. Circle. Whatever feels right, but forwards definitely, because then you get a little bit of a stretch at the back and a stretch into the hips. Okay, and let's march again. Got lots to do today. Fabulous. Okay, let's take the feet wide. Hands down by the sides, slide down and use the muscles in your belly and your core to lift you up. In seated, nice wide feet, reaching down towards the floor at the side of you, as if you were picking something up off the floor, your toilet roll or a drink. Keep breathing, don't hold your breath. So slide, pull up. You can rest in the center, and then you can start lifting that opposite elbow up if you wanted to. Slide and slide. And one more, and then back to your march. And I think that's our circulation boost done. So now we're moving into endurance. So this is the part where you might get a little bit out of breath, and that's fine, but you need to manage it because we're not with you in the room. So we expect your energy levels to be about a 5 or a 6, 0 being you've just got out of bed or you've got so much energy, you could run a marathon. 10 is you've just run that marathon, you can't do anything else. So 5 or 6, you might be a little bit breathless, but if I said, are you okay? You say, yeah, I'm okay. You would sound a little bit breathless, but you could be okay. You would be okay to carry on. Anything above that and you puff in, huffing and puffing, take it down a level. If you're kind of skipping around, Ready to do a bit more? Then add in arms, add in bigger movements. It's not about speed. So let's come back to that little foot tap. You can add in an opposite arm. So we tap into the side, same in seated. Tap into the side, adding in either a hand to the ear, or you could push one hand out in front of you. So what are we doing? We're opening out the hips here, and we're working on that, that opening out of the hips. Into the bottom, you might feel it into the bottom, but you're also adding in arm work, which increases your heart rate, which is why you might get a bit puffed out. Okay, take the arms out, arms down. This is your recovery bit. You just lift your heels, okay? Breathe. If you need to stay here a bit longer, if you're too puffed out, you can. That's your option. Nobody's going to say, why are you not doing anything? We need you to be safe. Take some breaths. Then we're coming into lunges. So I'm going to step outside of my chair, and then I'm going to use my force, my strength to push back into that wide base of support. So a wide base step. Other foot comes forwards, step back, steady. Step back. You can start small. I've started quite big because I know some of you are able to do that. In seated, what does it look like? So you're at the front of your chair. You're stepping out, leaning, come back. Or you can come into that staggered bunny hop. So one foot's back, one foot's in front. And it's that little bit of a jockey jump or a bunny hop. So step forwards, push back, land steady, confident. Okay, building confidence all the way. Why do we do this? It's strength into your thighs. If you needed to lean down and pick something up, you need to do this. You need these muscles to get you up and down slopes and steps. You can hold on with both hands. You can hold on with one hand. You could just do one side at a time, or you could be unsupported. Whatever suits you. It's good for you to write it down, for you to know how you're progressing. You can look at the beam and go, oh my blimey, I wasn't not confident at all, and I had to hold on through all of these. And now I'm just holding on every now and again, or I'm not holding on. Where are you stepping back to? Is this your default? Wide step. Can you step a bit further away and then push back? Power, strength and speed. Lovely. And then let's just lift the heels. Remember, recovery, breathe. Just lift the heels. This is not a big movement. This is where you stop going from down to, I can talk. You should be able to talk anyway. So being a bit out of breath to a bit more manageable. Are we okay? Fab. Easy, this bit. Take it easy. Lovely. Okay, we're coming into some squats, some knee bends. So adjust your trousers. Feet come wide, or wider than your hips. Toes point out a little bit. And it's a concertina. You're going down. You're not going forward. You're going down. Bottom, hips push back. Knees push forward. Eye gaze drops with you. Okay. So you can see I'm going to stand quite close to my chair, so you can see that I dip down. I'm no closer to my chair when I come down. Squeeze your bottom at the top. And if that means if you can't kind of squat properly without bending forwards, just come down a little bit and see what happens. Squat a little bit, but it's bottom out, as if you were going to sit in a chair, but you don't. Seated, it's your bunny hop or your jockey jump. Feet back, wide. Adjust, see how you feel. Some people don't like to be too wide because their knees come in. We don't want knees in. you're not firing off the muscles in your bottom. Okay. Keep those knees pointing out. And just a little lean forwards, press through the feet, and see how you get on. Are you still going in standing? So it's down, it's not forwards. All right. Okay. Sorry. That middle one, yeah. Down below that one. Yeah. Okay. So we're coming down, we're bending the knees. Lovely. And then let's march. So it's a really good idea if you've got a mirror to just try it in front of a mirror, because I do it myself in pump class. Think, oh, I'm all right. And I look in the mirror, I'm like, blimey, my knees are not out or whatever. We don't always do it correctly. So keep marching, and just it is that movement or here. So I'm going down, my eye gaze stays. It's not a hinge forward, and it's certainly not a hinge back. Okay. Just pump your heels, or get somebody else to watch you and say, what do I look like? Do I look like I'm leaning forwards? March, march. This is your rest time. March, march. Get your breath. Get your breath. Lovely. Okay, we're going to go into a little bit of fartlek training. So this is a little bit of endurance training where you get out of breath, and we repeat the movement. We'll do it 3 times. If you're not feeling 100% today, see how you go. If you do the first round and you don't feel great, then just march through the second 2. There's lots of options. So what we're going to do is lift the knees. Don't do it yet. I will just want you to march your heels in that recovery. So we're going to go for 30 seconds, and we're going to lift knees in front of you. Don't do it yet, just march. I'm going to count you down, 3, 2, 1. We'll go for 30 seconds. If you need to stop before the 30, you can, and just march. In seated, I want you at the front of your chair, lean back. You can lift your knees. I'll count you down, 3, 2, 1. We'll stop and we'll rest by pumping the heels. Then we'll go for round 2, only if you're able to do it. You can go with the same gusto. You can reduce it. You can add in. So options are keep marching your heels, lift the knees, hold on. Other option is add in an arm. Option is add in 2 arms. Add in big arms, big knees, okay? It's not fast. These are big muscles we're using. Other options are hold on, small knees, but we want to see a difference between the high knees and the recovery. So we're going to start, and at any time stop and just pump your heels. So we're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Okay. So I'm going to show the highest option, not fast. Big, big, or lower again. Here, seated, same. You do what you can do. We're going to stop in 3, 2, 1, and stop. Breathe, lift those heels. Take a breather. If you need to sit, if you need to just pump your heels on the next one, do that. We've got 2 more rounds. If your levels are about a 5 or 6, you can stay the same. If 7, 8, 9, you need to bring it down, and that might be no arms. It might be make them smaller, make the movements smaller. Okay, if you're okay, we're going to go in 3, 2, 1. So whatever you need to do, it might be just legs. You could add in small arms. You could add in 1 arm, or go for it. Notice your body. How's your breathing? How are your levels? If I said, how are you doing? Could you say, oh, I'm okay? Or are you too out of breath? 3, 2, 1, hold it there. Just a heel lift. How are your levels? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just lift the heels. Just lift the heels. If you're 3 or 4, keep going. Maybe add a bit more. If you're 5 or 6, perfect. 1 more to go. Only you know how you feel. Ready. Last one. 3, 2, 1. Keep breathing. Keep smiling. This is great for your heart health. It's not balanced, so you can hold on. Excellent work, team. Keep breathing. 8. 3, 2, 1. Okay, hold it there. Hold it there. Pump your heels. No arms. No arms. Shake your hands out if you want to. Sometimes it makes your fingers feel a bit fat. Keep pumping. Keep lifting the heels. Breathe. We're not stopping yet because heart rates are high. Give me a thumbs up if you're okay. Fabulous. Good. If you're not feeling great, just stay with the heel pump. Do not just stop moving, otherwise your blood pressures plummet. Okay, so we're just going to step together. Step together. You could add in a small arm. Nothing too big. Nothing too major. Keep going. Keep going. Lovely. March. Just a little march. Just a little march. Good. Just a step together. No arms. Okie dokie. Lovely. Are you feeling your heart rate's coming back to normal? You might not feel that. You might just feel that you're less breathless. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Wide base sway. So hands up, side to side, side to side. Lovely. Okay, one hand only. One hand. And then no hands. Good. And then just lift the heels. Right, how are we feeling? Are we okay? Was that tough or was it all right? It can be really good for you to write your scores down of where you were, whether you were 5 or on. Can you hear me now? Yeah, fab. Sorry about that. Lovely. So we're going to come up to standing for your balance section. So, and if you're mostly seated today, I want you to just try and stand. Even just for 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, whatever you can manage. I just want you to stand, feet nice and wide, with great posture. Because sometimes we don't feel like if you're mostly seated or chair-based, or you're using a wheelchair, sometimes you don't feel like standing, and you lose confidence in standing. And so let's practice just standing with great posture. So feet wide, soft knees, plant your feet on the floor, spread your toes out on the floor and squeeze your thighs together. And what that does is it puts the pressure into the center of your body. So your center of gravity is perfect if we're squeezing everything together. Under shoulders is really good to just stand. So moving into balance, how do we improve that? Take your feet together. You can do it behind a chair. Yeah, standing can make some people really wobbly. Okay, especially if there's things like Parkinson's or if you've had a stroke, then that can make you really wobbly. So stop knee, all of those points I've just said, relax the shoulders. And then if you're happy with that, you can either come into a little tandem walk, which is one foot in front of the other, a little forward step, and then backward step. Or if you're not confident, just little pin steps, really close together, forwards and back. And it can be within the confines of your chair, so you've always got something to hold on to. Some people like 2 chairs. Why? If you're confident, have a little wander, change direction, but nice and slowly, not too slow that you're going to wobble. It's actually easier if you're mobile doing this than standing still. So using the space in your room, what do we do if we're wobbly? How do we come out of that step safely? How do we do that? We would step wide, wouldn't we? So forwards and back maybe. How do you feel in that? It might be a little tight around your hips. You can always take your feet a bit wider so they're not quite in tandem. Lots of different options. In seated, keep going in standing. In seated, you need to be at the front of your chair. Bring one foot in, take the other foot in front, lean forwards. Or you can lift, or you can put one foot on top of the other and then make sure you change sides. You can also bring one foot back and still feel like you're doing a little tandem walk. Anything that takes your center of gravity to the middle and not wide is going to challenge your balance. But if you can stand and just hold even, that's good. Your ankles are kind of, ooh, I'm a bit wobbly. Your brain is checking where your body is. It's checking where your body is around you. It's getting used to it, and it's bringing off different signals to help your body recover. And practice makes perfect. We might not ever be perfect, but actually see some improvements. Lovely feeling. And you might notice that with practice, you might feel more steady. So moving in different directions, forwards and back, using your arms. Okay, step wide. Okay, flamingo swing, flamingo stand, and then flamingo swing. So ping away from your chair so you've got some support if you need it. You don't have to hold on, but this is balance, so feel free to either press down with a whole hand, both hands if you need, or between something, or just people like just one finger. You're going to slide that foot back, slide it back, knees are level, posture check. If you're leaning forwards, you're going to fall forwards. If you're leaning back, then it's going to be uncomfortable. So foot back, bottom under, shoulders back and down. Lift that heel. Toes are spread out on that foot that's on the floor. Use your arms to balance. Find a point to focus on. That will always help. And when you do this at home, practice at home, write down how long you can stand on the right foot and then the left foot. Da-da-da. And then when you're ready, step out wide. How did you get on? I used to be really rubbish at this. Really rubbish. And Nick and I do a little thing he's a gentleman who focuses on strength and balance in different ways. And we practice this and we're getting much better Yeah. I'll write down the times that you're doing, you're managing. I forget what I was going to say. Anyway, other side, same principles. Spread your toes out, squeeze your thighs, core engaged, bottom tucked under, shoulders back and down, eye gaze forwards, lift the foot, relax the toes, and just breathe. Find something to focus on. Keep those hips in line. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. And I've just taught this to Pilates, and they do exactly the same. Lovely. Is that Anita? Good step out there. Brilliant. So when you're done, you step out nice and wide. And I want you to practice this at home. It's so good for. We're going to go back to leg number 1, and we're going to swing. So same principles. Take that foot back to start with. Your hips might be a bit achy. Keep them in line. Soften the knee. Lift that leg. And we just swing. That's why it's called a swing. Swing up and back. Now, try to keep your hips facing forwards, because the tendency is to kind of go whoop, round and round. No, no, no. Up and back. If you're sitting, sorry, I didn't say that. Flamingo swing. Flamingo lift is here. Flamingo swing. It's a bit difficult, but if you could just lift, or just stand and do the flamingo lift. Otherwise, the swing is great. Helen likes to do, it's more of a cycle than a swing. So she likes to lift up, down, brush, back, and down. So, and actually that's a good one, because when we're coming into our lunges and we're trying to get back up off the floor, we kind of lift our leg out sideways, but it's kind of that principle. Okay, step out. Let's change sides. Sitting, just change into your lift or your little swing as much as you can in seated. So, lovely. Look at them two, Colin and I, lifting up and back. So, little swing, facing forwards. And then we can go into that little cycle, dragging that foot down, point, drag up. Drag up. Lovely. Ooh, it makes my hip ache doing this. Not the one I'm moving, the dodgy one that I'm standing on. Step out and wiggle. And hopefully if you have niggles and sore bits, hopefully it's not too achy afterwards. It should only last a day or 2 weeks. If it's more, then you might be just doing a bit too much for now. Lovely. Good. So we got to do strength. We got to do flexibility, Tai Chi. Let's come and sit down. So I was just talking to you about when we get up off the floor. And hopefully you've got a band. If not, you don't need a band. You can just do it without. So have a little rest on your chair for a moment. And then we're going to hip walk to the front there of your chair. No, we're not. We're going to hip walk back. Or somewhere in the middle. Have a try. See what works better for you, because we're going to... I'm going to walk you through this bit where actually I do need to come forward. We're going to lift the knee out. So it's a lift out and back in. And this is where we say you forgot to put your pants on this morning. So you're going to use your band to either go over your trainers or right the way in. Can't do it with my trainers, they're sticking. So here, over and under. Or put your band under your foot and then lift. So can you see that? I'm lifting my leg out. So my knee is not coming in front of my body, it's coming to the side. Why do we do that? Remember, so you keep going. If you don't have a band, just lift that knee out. Remember when we're on the floor and I need to get you up off the floor. And we're in this position and we come in here, we're into our press and I need to get that leg up. And it's really difficult to get that leg here. We got things in the way. And it's easier to slide that leg around to the side. It's so much easier. Okay, so that's why we practice this movement. So band under or just lifting that knee up to the side. It actually opens out the hip, but it strengthens those muscles that you use to lift up and out. And it's not quite the same. Let's practice that, shall we? So take your foot out wide, if you can. If you haven't had a hip replacement and it's a bit stiff or arthritis, take your foot out and then bring it up and over. Out, up and over. How does that feel? So that's more like that movement we would be doing if we needed to bring that leg back in. Yeah? It's easier with a band because you've got that little bit of with the band. And again, one side might be better than the other. So that's helpful to know. One side better than the other. Okay, let's swap sides. So you can try and get that foot through and back, through and back. Or you can pop that band under your foot and then start to lift and lower, lift, lower. Lower. And if it helps, you could even lean back in the chair because sometimes it's quite a big movement to lift that hip when you're sitting forwards. So it might be incline a little bit, up and down. And then let's come into that little slide. So slide up and in, as if you're lifting up and over something. It's a bit big for your cat. Up and over, slide out, up and over, slide out. Lovely, good work. So you can see that all the movements that we give to you, we teach, relate to something that's going to help you get up off the floor or get down and up. Lovely. Okay, let's do some arm work. How are we doing? So we're going to sit forwards in our chairs. Same in seated. We're all seated. Slide those hands underneath and hold your band with your palms facing up. Elbows are tucked in and they stay there for now. So this is our dumb waiter. It's upper back strengthener. Actually, and it's a shoulder strengthener as well. So we open out a little bit, pull back to the belly, squeeze your shoulder blades together, send the hands forwards, relax that tension and drop down. Show you from the side. So lift, tension by squeezing out, pull back. So elbows come behind you, but they're still sliding in about my waist, around my waist. So relax. What I mean is they're in. They stay here. They're not coming out. Okay. Let's go again. Lift, open, pull back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, breathe and smile, release forwards, let go of that tension, drop down. Lift, open. And if it helps you to say it, it might help you to breathe. Release, drop. So lift, open, pull back, squeeze shoulder blades, forwards, release, drop down. Lift up. This time is different. Open, pull back, squeeze shoulder blades, open, release. Keep your elbows back. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Out and in. Oh, tiny little outs and in. I'm just making it larger so you can see. Oh, out and in. Tiny little presses. 4 or stop. 3 or stop. 2 1, let go, forwards. Oh, well done. How does that feel? Fabulous. Let's do a little shoulder roll. Well done. That will really help to improve your upper back strength, your shoulder strength, the muscles in the tops of your arms, shoulder girdle. If you can't do it with the band, this movement, or if you don't have a band and you want to just practice, elbows tuck in, hands come wide, as if you're holding a tray, okay? And then you can send them back. So it's that opening out movement that is really good for us. Fabulous. How are we doing? Hey, let's do a little bit of a bicep. So we're going to pop the band under your feet, both your feet, and we're going to hold the bands. Don't wrap the band around your fingers. Mine's not very long, so I'm just going to adjust. I'm going to hold the ends up through the top because then I can adjust it. We're just going to do work on one side and then the other. We're going to think about posture. Feet are wide, pull your belly in, relax the shoulders. We don't want you kind of up here. So relax shoulder. On one hand, the elbow stays tucked in and the hand comes towards the shoulder and right back down to the thigh. And the elbow stays still, like you've got super glue. I'll show you from the side. It's super glue. And you're lifting, 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 lowering. If you need to, if it's too hard, make it a bit longer, make that band a bit longer that side. And if it's not hard enough, then hold it down a bit lower. But I don't want you to break the band. So lift, 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 lower, lower, lower. So elbow stays in. The only thing moving is that forearm. Try to keep that wrist nice and still and in line. So we're not kind of bringing it up or down. It's in line. So a strong wrist. Let's change sides. Adjust your band. If you don't have a band, a tin, or just gripping, squeezing your fists together will help you. Because it just engages the muscles in the biceps, in the fronts of the arms. Keep that elbow nice and tucked in. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. Your muscles need oxygen when you're doing this. Keep going. Keep going. One more. Okay, can we alternate? One. So palm faces up, palm comes to the shoulder. One up. You might not be able to do one up, one down. It depends how long your band is. And then can you do both together? Up, lower it down, and up. Lovely. Oh, good. And up and down. Cliff, are we okay? Just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, fab. Thanks, Nick. And then rest. Drop that band. Let's take the palm up. And then just squeeze the fingers down towards the floor a little bit. And then same on the other side. Just press. And then arms come back. Thumbs up. I hate the next bit. Thumbs down. Press back. Arms down. Roll through your shoulders. Lovely. Let's come into some stretches and then we're going to Tai Chi. So let's stay with the arms. So pop one hand on the opposite shoulder and you can leave it there or support that arm across your body by just holding it on the back of your arm. And just draw it in a little bit. So we're stretching the back of the arms. Breathe. And then we're going to take that hand to the same shoulder, walk the fingers down towards the center of the shoulder blades. You can give it a little nudge if you want to, and then lift up through the chest. And breathe. Feet wide, forwards a little bit. Take that arm up and over your head. That's why feet need to be wide, or you might just be a bit wobbly. Forwards and out of that lovely stretch. Okay, hand comes onto the opposite shoulder and leave it there, or draw that arm closer to the body. Fabulous. And then hand touches the same shoulder. Walk the fingers down into the center of the shoulder blades. If you need to, give it a little nudge and then lift, open up through the chest. Lift the chest. Breathe. Hand comes up, feet nice and wide over your head, whichever way that might be, over your head. And then forwards and down, rounding out through. Hands come towards the back of the chair. You can squeeze the back of the chair or can you hear me now? Oh, I was leaning on my microphone pack. Thank you. I have my hands resting on it. It just knocks it out sometimes. Relax. Let's roll those shoulders. Let's cut legs. Okay. So one foot comes up forwards, toes up to the ceiling. Walk that other foot out a bit and forwards. Hands come on the thigh. Lovely long spine and lean forward. So not a rounded spine here. And just lean forwards with the toes pointing up. And that way you get the stretch thigh, back of the knee. If you're rounded, you don't feel it. Heel there, sit up, relax the foot, and then squeeze the toes up towards the kneecap. And that stretches out your calf. And then let's change sides, heel, digs down, walk out, forwards, the other leg. Lift and then hitch. So that lovely lift lifts up your chest and it lifts your ribs away from your hips and gives you a lovely stretch in the back of the leg. And breathe and then sit up, relax the toes and then squeeze the toes up towards the knees, knee and release. On the thighs. Send the hands over the thighs, ooh, and round through the spine. Yes, then you pull your belly button in towards the spine, and it might be a bit achy at first. But if you send rest here, and we're going to go back to that stretch because it's a lovely spine stretch. Time forwards. Going to come wide, and we're just going to stretch down that into that side stretch, that side lean that we do in our warm-up. Because sometimes when we've done some mobility, we might move that makes us a bit uncomfortable, and it's good to get some of those movements going again. Lovely. How are we doing? 25. Fabulous. So we'll do, and then we'll do relaxation. So you can stay seated, especially if you're tired now. Stay seated for Tai Chi. Just some breathing techniques. You have to at all. It's good for balance. It's good for calming. So feet are wider. Bring our fingers together. Lift to the chest. Breathe. Hands down. As we lift in, we breathe up. Lift up. And let's do that 2 more times. Okay, so we're going to across each other and Press down with the other hand across the body. This beak comes across and we open up. Now this other hand becomes the beak, comes across the body, cross, open out. Cross down, cross, open. Beak. Cross both arms, open. Down. Cross hands, center, open, into the beak. Cross. Cross. Open. Across the body. Hand comes down and across and opens. Float the arms down. Breathe in. Let's to relaxation. So sit yourselves down, full back. Rest against the chair. Feet plant on the floor for just a couple of minutes of relaxation. So close your eyes. Take some deep breaths in through your nose and out through the mouth. And again. And then just breathe normally for you. And on every breath out, I want you to feel parts of your body relaxing a little bit more. So let's start from the top of the head, feeling the forehead relaxing as we breathe out. And feeling the eyes relaxing, the cheekbones, the eyelids, eyebrows. Feeling the teeth separating and the jaw relaxing on that next breath out. And feeling the muscles around the neck and the shoulders relaxing as the shoulders drop. And the muscles in the chest, the upper arms, and maybe right down into the fingers, just relaxing on that breath out. And then the muscles around the belly, the lower back, into the bottom, just relaxing, resting. And then on the next breath out, the muscles around the thighs, the backs of the thighs, the kneecaps, resting, relaxing. On the next breath out, the muscles around the calves, the shins and the ankles, just relaxing, letting go. And the next breath out, relaxing through the toes, the bottom of the feet, the instep. And just breathing in and out at a regular pace for you. And our fingers. Oh, have a stretch maybe. Open your eyes, roll through your shoulders, and give yourself a big round of applause for another week. Well done. Week 23, done and dusted. Thank you for joining us. You are amazing. And we'll come off Zoom and we'll chat to you if you're live with us. So take care. See you next week. Not working. Oh, there we go.